up, y'all?
Oh, you caught me dancing.
Because you assume I'm going to do it at the fadeaway, but when I surprise you, you're just... Hey, everybody. My name is Zuby Mosley, co-founder of Laughing Place, host of this morning show, along with my good buddy over there. We determined yesterday I'm allowed to call him good buddy. Kyle Burbank, managing editor of Laughing Place. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing pretty well.
And down there today, one of my best friends in the whole wide world is Benji Breitbart, CEO and Big Cheese of Laughing Place. How you doing today, Ben?
I'm good. Disney Parks has not emailed me. Well, that's not true, but no Disney Parks news yet today. So that's a change.
You know.
Oh, he's angry about something.
Yes, he is.
What?
Sorry, just looking at my email.
Oh, okay. I will say that it could be worse, Dewey. You could be working for the FAA.
Maybe it's all connected. All right, so
Like MTU. Yeah, yesterday we determined that there was probably more Disney Parks news than was announced at the expo.
At least at least stuff that matters, right? Like, I mean, if you look back at what they announced, the Hulk meet and greet, I mean, it's great, but that's not as significant as.
Well, it's already gone.
Yeah, right. But
yeah, lots of significant things, and also it's kind of like, speaking of Hulk, it's like the Kevin Feige thing. Like, we'll have the news when we have it. Sometimes it's a random Tuesday in August. In this case, it was a random Tuesday in January.
Yeah, and I want to be in the meeting where they were like, okay, we're going to announce these like new policy changes. And you know what? We're also going to announce like that Tron's opening. We're also going to announce the return of these nighttime spectaculars. And we're also going to announce river cruises. Like,
which one do you want to do? Yes.
It's just a lot. But has the stock price been impacted by any of these things?
Well, that's a good question. We're going to find out. So the S&P right now is essentially flat, 0.5% up. Kyle, we can't let Benji guess because this is his expertise. We'll let you guess.
I'm going to say it's in line. I don't know if people are really going to go one way or the other based on these granular announcements about annual pass holders being able to enter the parks at 2 p.m.
I happened to be in on the Merrill Lynch conference call this morning. They still exist, Merrill Lynch? On the Merrill Lynch conference call this morning.
They're part of Bank of America.
And number one on the docket was no longer paying for parking when you stay at a Disney World resort. And as a result, Disney is pretty much flat as well, same as the S&P. So.
How much
does probably need to share the tab to see that. Yeah, there you go.
Free parking impact shareholder value?
Not at all, but it is inching closer to 100. That whole 80s thing seems to be a distant memory now. Bob Iger's back. He's in his element, and Disney will never, ever again be in the 80s unless they split the stock.
Yeah, I think what's always interesting to me is, and it doesn't change that much on any given day, but the market cap. How much is Disney worth? I mean, do you guys know?
I do not know.
It's about $175 billion.
About $175.27 billion, which is much less. It's not a trillion. Aren't there $1 trillion companies out there now?
Apple was $2 trillion, but it's dipped below that now.
Weird to think there's a company that's worth like 5 times what Apple is.
That's why Apple.
I mean, what Disney is. What Disney is. Yeah. And all they do is make. They're still doing the Apple IIc, right? With the 5 1/4. Probably.
They're not doing iPods anymore, so
And then Kyle, are you ready with your report?
Yeah, let me pull that up. As you'll see, the rain is done in Southern California for now. Just some thunderstorms and marginal risk of severe weather kind of near me. In Anaheim, the rain is done for now. Partly cloudy, highs in the low 60s. In Orlando, it is sunny and clear once again. They're in the 70s during the day, but it will fall below 60 in the evening. So make sure to bring something warm to wear. Castaway Cay is also sunny. They're higher in the 70s. And there's a light breeze coming in the afternoon. Over in Marne-la-Vallée, it is in the upper 40s to close out their night. In Miami, Tokyo, partly cloudy. And they'll be in the 50s all day. So some great sweater weather over there in Tokyo tomorrow. Shanghai, there's going to be showers in the afternoon with potential thunderstorms in the evening, but it'll be in the 60s before all of that arrives. And then finally, Hong Kong, tomorrow will be a cloudy one with a chance of rain, but temperatures will be steady in the upper 60s.
Thank you very much, Kyle. That is Kyle's Daily Weather Report. You can find that if you missed it at Kyle's Daily Weather Report. This domain does not actually exist. So,
Go.
Yesterday was a huge day in the world of Disney parks for us fans. There was a ton of stuff announced in the morning between the Tron opening date and the stuff coming to Epcot that we did discuss on yesterday's morning show. And then in the afternoon, they decided, no, LP needs to be busier, and they released a ton more. So if these two guys can quickly go through some of that, I will
can
be
I
back
just
shortly.
apologize to Kyle that we have I try and guess when the news is going to break. I try and staff us appropriately. With TCA happening and some of the park events happening later in this week, I was like, oh, I should stack the deck a little bit towards, the end of the week. And that ended up being a very poor decision.
Well, I told Tubi, I was like, our staff schedule today is TCU and Disney News is Georgia.
So, we can recap what they did yesterday, what they announced specifically. I would say on the
yes, talk about the afternoon stuff, the parks updates, the more operational updates rather than entertainment.
So we have at Disney World, there's no more resort parking fees, which we talked about how
last night,
like right away. We talked about how they were, they added parking fees, which most hotels do charge you parking fees, but Disney kind of was like the one thing you could say that they didn't do.
At least Walt Disney World.
Yeah. Disneyland still charges parking, but that's a little bit more complicated.
And there were a few exceptions to begin with, right? Like if you were using not cash nights for DVC, but if you were using points or something, then DVC members got free parking.
If you're using cash but at a DVC resort, it was still free. If you're just a DVC member staying at All Star, that didn't count.
Okay.
But yeah, DVC members still essentially got free parking under most situations. But then they also, annual pass holders at Walt Disney World no longer need reservations after 2. They can just go in the park, with the exception of Magic Kingdom on the weekends.
Well, that will be. We don't know when that's coming. It'll be in the coming months.
Right. Also, if you have Genie Plus, if you add that on, now ride photos are included. So you don't have to add Memory Maker. It's just going to be included in all that.
Which I think makes a lot of sense.
Meanwhile, at Disneyland, their big thing is park hopping can now start at 11, which is basically as soon as most annual pass holders show up.
Well, there's a date on that one. February something?
February 4th, I believe.
Becomes effective?
Yeah. And then they're adding 60. Well, I shouldn't say they're adding. There's going to be approximately 60 Tier 0 days. So they're increasing the number. I don't know what it was before, but at first we thought they were going to say adding 60 to whatever was already there. But no, it's just going to be about 60, which is still, a sixth of the year, once it's still a significant part of the year. So, and then their attraction photos, the ones you get on the attractions are going to be included with your ticket. So you don't need to pay extra to get your Space Mountain picture.
Well, they specifically said for the 100th, so it's unclear whether this will just be an ongoing thing or whether there'll be an expiration date on it, but it might just be one of their ways of promoting the 100th, and then it's just a standing policy. It's a little unclear on that aspect.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, we talked about a little bit, yesterday during our breaking news segment, but I think I think the big thing here is we just expected the other shoe to drop on and now Tier 4 days are $500, but never really came. So, and they promised us that there's not some, dark side that this is just a thing. And they did some reporting last night, and it really seems like this was so Josh Tomorrow in the New York Times said this is not necessarily related to the leadership change, but my reporting says it is definitely related to the leadership change. And it's, just there was talk of even like kind of it used to be like, okay, you have parking on your reservation, extra whatever it was, right? Well, then they were even going to add like if you bring in a second car, charge you twice for it. So that was sort of an about face that came up suddenly. So, do you have any thoughts, Kyle?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing is, you see a lot of people happy about these changes. Like, to me, the biggest one, I sure resort parking is a big one because I don't really stay on property. It doesn't affect me. But the APs being able to visit in most afternoons, I think is probably the biggest story for me. But then you see a lot of people excited about that. But then you're like, oh, well, they should just do it with the whole system. What am I going to do? If the park closes at 9, what am I going to do from 2 to 9? It's like, that seems like a decent amount of time to me. Like, being able to go have dinner at Epcot or just stroll around Hollywood Studios in the evening. Like, that sounds.
The next time,
I mean, it's hard to say game changing since it's the way it was forever until 2 years ago. But
the type of person who would make that complaint, the next time they're in the park for 7 hours will be the first time they're in the park for 7 hours. That is not the way hardcore APs do a theme park. So,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm back. Got Jeremiah gave him the heads up to get his self in here so we can get started on that. For me, definitely the no reservation thing. And it is interesting they only did it at Disney World. It's much easier.
Anthony Bourdain is coming to Disney parks, I think is what we're saying.
Much easier to do that at Disney World than Disneyland, I'm guessing, where everybody comes in after 2 o'clock. But, cross the fingers that this goes well at Disney World. They're able to still staff properly and all that. And the crowds don't get too out of control. And who knows, maybe we'll get even after 6 at Disneyland, which would still be huge, frankly. So.
Yes, suddenly every Walt Disney World annual pass is an Epcot after 4 pass. Go figure.
So we're going to have Jeremiah on in just a few minutes. He is just completing. Go ahead, Ben.
We got some breaking news if we want to talk about that while we wait.
Yeah, go for it.
So Alex is covering the Television Critics Association, and today is the Freeform ABC Day. And so there's going to be breaking news throughout the day regarding those shows. But we just got that ABC has greenlit Jeopardy Masters, which is going to be what they're calling a league-style event with Matt Amodio, Sam Buttrey, Andrew Hay, James Holzhauer, Mateo Roach, and Amy Schneider. And I know Kyle's sort of our resident Jeopardy expert. Thoughts here?
Yeah, so those are 6 well-known champions, mostly from the past few years, incidentally. Like, I'd have to look at the list again, but I think Holzhauer might be like the oldest one on there. A lot of those have happened in the past couple of seasons. And I didn't look at all the details of this, but you mentioned league style. They did do something similar to this a few years ago. They had like league captains, and they were able to draft different people from like the college tournament and from other, mega champions. So I wonder if it'll be similar to that. But the thing that caught my eye is that Ken Jennings is going to be the host of this one, which, if you don't watch Jeopardy regularly, that might not surprise you. But what's interesting is back when after they auditioned all of those guest hosts, they were going to have Mike Richards host the regular version of Jeopardy, and then have Mayim Bialik. What?
Kramer, or is this a different one?
Different one. Different one. This is not
real question. I know he has a Jeopardy history with energy, so I wasn't sure. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. But no, Mike Richards, the producer, was going to host the regular daytime show, and Mayim Bialik was announced to be doing the primetime specials. But then Mike Richards left right away, and then they brought in Ken Jennings, and he and Mayim have been sharing the duties on the normal show. And so I guess this kind of changes the dynamic for now. It looks like maybe they'll be hosting both. I guess what I'm saying is I was surprised to see that it wasn't Mayim Bialik hosting a primetime special after being announced to be doing specifically primetime specials. But I think it makes perfect sense that they would have Ken do something like this.
Why does the picture ABC provided of him on Pyramid?
Because they own that, and they haven't shot this yet. And I guess they don't produce that either, because that's Fremantle, isn't it?
Yeah, but Sony's Jeopardy, right? I mean,
yeah.
None of these things. Also, in tied to this, they also announced season 9 of Celebrity Family Feud, season 5, which I can't believe, of Press Your Luck, and season 2 of one of Kyle's favorites, Claim to Fame.
Yeah. So if you watched, we did a drafting place a couple weeks ago, and we drafted the best content. We had to choose one from linear networks, and Max stole my pick of Claim to Fame because it was really fun. Like, I'm not a reality TV kind of guy, and I just got sucked into it. I thought it was a lot of fun, and there was some backstabbing, but there was like a camaraderie, and it was fun for the audience too, because they didn't reveal who all of the people were. Sometimes they would tell you who their celebrity relative was, but other times you got to kind of play along and use the clues and try to figure it out for yourself.
Kyle, you're Jeopardy expert. How would Watson finish here? I know they didn't put him in there. How would he do?
Well, I think he won before, didn't he? They used to say, Brad Rutter was one of the ones in the GOAT competition against Holzhauer and Ken Jennings, which Ken won. And they'd always preface it because he said, "Oh, he's never been beaten by a human contestant," because Rutter was back in the day when you used to only be able to win a maximum of 5 regular season competitions.
And then you got a Ford Fiesta.
Yeah, well, you had to match find all the things before 60 seconds ran out.
Go ahead, Ben.
More breaking news from TCA. You might have known that ABC started during the pandemic these Disney sing-alongs, and they did a Queen sing-along. The next iteration is Schoolhouse Rock sing-along, once again hosted by Ryan Seacrest. It's going to debut on February 1st on ABC, and then show up at a later date on Disney Plus next day on Hulu. So timing's still kind of weird. But the 50th performances, we got Black Eyed Peas is doing 3 is a magic number.
Makes sense, because De La Soul did it.
Derek Hoff and Haley Herbert are doing Figure 8.
Figure 8. They'll probably just do a dance to that. That's very like ballerina.
Yeah.
I see them. That makes sense.
Jason Biggs and Jenny Mollen are doing I'm Just a Bill.
Not sure about that one.
Julianne Hough is doing Interplanet Janet.
Interplanet Janet. She's a galaxy girl.
The Muppets and Fortune Feimster are doing Unpack Your Adjectives.
I know all of these songs.
Give us a snippet of each one. I don't know them until I hear them.
Unpack your adjectives. Do. Talk about it with adjectives.
Neo is doing Verb. That's What's Happening.
No, that one. That one wasn't. So let me give context here. I don't actually really know the originals of all of these. I know I had an album called Schoolhouse Rock Rocks. So I can tell you who performed the original, the covers on that. So in that case, this was Moby did Verb. That's What's Happening instead of Neo. And of course, is Neo going to be a Disney legend? He's on every special. Raven
Simone and Cal Penn are doing Interjections.
That makes me happy. Hooray!
Followed by a comment when the feeling's not as strong.
Rita's doing
Everybody knows.
Here I Come.
That one I don't know.
I thought that's like a real song. Ready
or not, here I come. You can't have. Yeah, Fugees.
Shaquille O'Neal and the Boys and Girls Club of Atlanta are doing Conjunction Junction. Let your function.
He's hooking
up words and phrases and clauses. That's what they did in this. They hooked up words and phrases and clauses with and boys and girls of.
That's very cute.
And then stars of Disney's Broadway and touring productions are going to do A Noun is a Person, Place, or Thing.
That is awesome.
So it's this is what I didn't know. The Disney Family Sing-Along was ABC's as the highest rated show on adults 18 to 49 on any network on any night since the 2020 broadcast of the Oscars.
We were in desperate need of that Disney Family Sing-Along. If you take ourselves back to April 2020, that was almost a public service. I mean, this may be crass, but it's no joke. They saved lives with that Disney Family Sing-Along, if you recall what life was like back then. So
was the Ariana Grande one?
Time to capitalize.
What's that?
Was the Ariana Grande one? Was that in the first special or the second? I think it was the first.
I think it was the first.
Yeah, where she did I Won't Say I'm in Love, and she did like 4 different parts. Like, really impressive.
No chance. No way.
And then
Oh,
just one more piece of news while we wait for Jeremiah. I don't watch the show, but I guess Grey's Anatomy is saying farewell to Grey on February 23rd, 9/8 Central on ABC. So I don't know if I don't think Jump the Shark still exists, but this may be it.
According to Jim, is now it's in second place now. How is Grey's Anatomy still on the air?
I wish they bring back TGIT.
Yeah, I thought Grey's Grey. I've never watched the show once in my life, which I'm very proud of. But I thought Grey was the hospital, which it appears to be. How do you say goodbye to the hospital?
It's not the hospital. The Grey is the character, Meredith Grey.
It says Meredith Grey says, "Oh."
Okay, so they renamed the hospital in honor of her dead sister. It's complicated.
Okay.
But
Her dead sister is the Alec Baldwin Maryland.
It originally had, I think it was called Seattle Gray's Hospital. The show is named after Grey, Meredith Grey.
Are
So there any original cast members still on this show?
Meredith Grey.
Yeah. Well, is Chandler Wilson still on it, right?
They have characters. In the past couple seasons, they've had them come back.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really watch the show, but I do laugh every time they're like a special crossover event between Grey's Anatomy and Station 19. Like, you do this every week. It's not that special.
I went to the doctor.
Like the same thing. Like, they take one patient from Station 19 and they drop them off at the hospital for Grey's Anatomy.
I went to the hospital many times last year, and no one I saw looked like any of these people. No one.
Well, it's funny too, because I remember when I first watched the show, when it was new, a mid-season replacement. They were all interns, but that was like 20 years ago. So hopefully they're not interns anymore.
It's like we were watching The Rookie last night, which is in season 7. I'm like, really? The Rookie? But he's no longer a rookie.
Feds.
Yes. Oh, that's a terrible. I'm sorry. The show is fine. The lead actress in that, her voice does not mesh well with my ears. That's all. I don't like her voice. People don't like people's voices. That's an okay thing. Everyone picks on me for loving Snow White. Pick on Adriana Castellati, and she's no longer with us, and people still pick on her. So I don't want to hear it. Don't shush me this morning. I'm in no mood for that. You want to jump to Golden Globes since Jerem still isn't quite ready, and we're in that sphere. So what are the big ones for Disney Golden Globes? How do we do this year?
Seems like the big winners were Abbott Elementary and the Banshees of Inisherin. So obviously Abbott Elementary is a network show. What? On ABC, produced by Warner Bros., but airs on ABC. And then Banshees of Inisherin is from Searchlight. So just going in the order that I have it, Colin Farrell won Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Musical, or Comedy. Just a reminder, Golden Globes do it by genre. So for a lot of their awards, unlike the Oscars. And also Banshees won for Best Screenplay for Motion Picture for Martin McDonagh. And
Best Picture.
And also Best Picture, Best Musical or Comedy, which is not on my list here. So I have to send that in.
Thankfully, Searchlight Instagram tweeted it.
Also,
their Instagram tweeted it. That's impressive.
Shut up.
Also, Angela Bassett won for Best Performance by an Actress in a Supporting Role in Any Motion Picture for Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And Abbott Elementary won for Musical or Comedy. Quinta Brunson won for Abbott Elementary for an Actress. Tyler James Williams won for Supporting Role in a Musical comedy for Abbott Elementary. And then the two sort of on their own was Jeremy Allen White won for Best Performance by an Actor in a Musical comedy for The Bear, which was, I believe, an FX on Hulu show. And I keep getting my FX and my FX on Hulu shows confused. And then The Dropout, Amanda Seyfried, which was on Hulu, won for Best Performance by an Actress in a Limited Series, Anthology Series, or Motion Picture made for television.
I can't believe that I saw both of these winners. I saw The Dropout, and she was spectacular, and I saw The Bear, and that was a surprisingly enjoyable film for me. So, wow. or a movie. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, I saw it.
You don't
I just
remember
can't
what it
believe a 22-minute network comedy won Best Television Series.
So what did it go up against? Does anyone know what it was nominated against? Because that is quite an accomplishment in this day and
Well, I
age.
mean, didn't Modern Family do it not all that long ago? Several
It
times.
was their first season, wasn't it? Or
Well, I mean, I know that they took the Emmy several times.
yeah. Let me find it here. But it went up against The Bear, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, and Wednesday. I didn't realize Wednesday was a comedy.
I mean, would you call the Banshees of whatever a comedy?
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. But so I don't know. And I mean, it's I mean, we can make all the jokes you want about the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, but
12 people said that was the best. 12 white people said that was the best.
Okay. Jeremiah appears to be ready, so I'm going to bring on Jeremiah. And you know what? I'm going to let you two guys handle him. So,
Thanks.
I wanted to ask him, though, since we haven't talked to him since the Disney World stuff, I did want to just get his thoughts on that since he is our top Disney World correspondent. So, but again, I'll let you two handle that. Hey, Jeremiah. Bye, Jeremiah.
Bye, Jeremiah.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Are those
Good.
trees made out of Legos?
No, but the monkeys behind me dangling. No, those are birds. That's right. Those are Lego birds.
Nice. So yeah, you are there because Legoland is opening a new attraction, correct?
Correct. The Pirate River Quest opens tomorrow at 10 a.m. Anybody that is local Floridian can definitely come out and join. Buy a ticket, buy an annual pass. The annual passes out here are ridiculously inexpensive for a fun time out here. And then you can take part in the grand opening. There's going to be an opening moment tomorrow at 10. So there's lots of fun. And the attraction is actually quite enjoyable.
So what exactly is it? Like sounds like it's a river journey, but what else? What do you encounter?
So through the historic canal, I'm not reading this. This is just what I've said so many. The historic canals of Cypress Gardens, you join a free-floating boat that has a captain. Our captain was actually one of the original captains that used to navigate boats through the canals when it was Cypress Garden, and he's been here that long. You go throughout the canal and you see different Lego scenes, and the whole storyline is Captain Brickbeard is cursed by monkeys, and you have to recover his treasure and break the curse. I know that just sounded insane, but and then each of the little scenes has interactive elements for the kids. Oh, we have a boat coming up behind me. For the kids or for the adults like our boat, where you'll count the jewels or count coins and try to help recover the treasure. I'm not sure how counting helps recover it, but it does.
Okay. Well, I'll be honest. I haven't been to Legoland, Florida, but I have been to Legoland in California. And every time I went, I was expecting there to be something that was more like Disneyland, where it's both for children and adults. And I always felt things were a little kiddie. Do you think that this is still a little kiddie, or do you think that there's enough for an adult that it feels like a regular attraction, for lack of a better term?
So we just talked with the head of marketing and the head of operations, and kind of what they both drove home. And this I agree with. It is designed for kids because it is Lego, but it is also a nice, relaxing boat ride. It's nice that they're just posing behind me.
That is quite nice.
Yeah, and it was described, an accurate description of it would be, this is their train or their people mover.
Okay.
It's something where you can sit down and relax and do nothing. You can take part in it. The storyline is fun. There's actually onboard audio on each of the boats. We'll have the video up of the full ride through later on today. Actually, I'm going to come over this way so we can get the boat going around. And you can see a new scene. Slow pan, slow pan, slow pan.
So, like, how long of an experience is it?
It is give or take 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a long attraction. Each boat can hold about 10 people. So you think about the math, it can be a little bit of a wait. And right now it is, tomorrow for the next few months, it'll be a popular attraction. There'll be a wait. But then you start to look at Legoland as it normally is. It'll be a nice, relaxing midday attraction without much of a wait.
Were you able to get video that'll be up later today on Laughing Place?
He already said that.
Oh, sorry.
Jeez.
My bad.
We have Slack for that.
Well, let's transition to Disney for a second. We can talk a little bit more about Lego after that. But what were your thoughts about the news changes at Walt Disney World, particularly the annual pass holder thing and the parking?
I'm more excited about Tron opening April 4th. That was the excitement of the day. And we've all joked, and I'm sure you guys have already said this, that this was more announcements yesterday than came out of the D23 Expo.
Yeah. Yep.
So the Tron announcement was great. It's funny, almost everything that we thought and we were pretty much dead set on, we were wrong about. So I'm looking forward to Tron. As everybody knows, that's the attraction that I'm been dying for a while. The other announcements were impressive. I'm happy for some of the changes. One of the ones that made me laugh, and this is the experience that I've had of staying at a hotel, is they really haven't enforced the charging for the boats. Yeah, if you float up for the cars, but them touting that, again, it is a great benefit. It is a way to save money for it was $20 a car a night or $18 a night. I don't remember what it is anymore.
It's probably more than that. It's probably risen over time.
Yeah, so that's a nice addition. And then the changes, I'm excited for the you don't need a reservation for the parks after 2, so that'll come in handy for a lot of people.
So having going to the parks a lot, do you see relevance in that 2 p.m.? Does that sound about right to you as far as when some people will move? I know that's the park hopping time, right? But
yeah,
do you think operationally that makes sense, or would you move it up or down?
I think right now it's a good time. I've been to the parks at 2:00, and I've seen in some cases, I'm looking at you, Disney Hollywood Studios, the line for the park hoppers is almost past the ticket booth from the touch point. So it will probably increase that line, but at the same time, I think it'll level some stuff out. Yes, Benji.
Can I ask you a universal question?
Yeah.
This is just happening as we speak, but we just got this info that I'm going to share with everybody as I talk slowly.
Really important.
But
wait, what?
No, this is I think could be a big deal, and maybe I'm wrong. But
holy macanoli, yeah, that is a big deal. Sorry, I have Luke next to me, and he's showing me this as we talk.
So what's the news, guys? Share with the world.
The Universal Parks and Resorts plans to bring a new concept for young families with young children to Frisco, Texas. The new park concept, set in a lush green landscape and featuring immersive themed lands, celebrates Universal's iconic brand of entertainment, humor, and innovation, and brings to life its beloved characters and stories in ways that will wow even the youngest theme park goers. So now it seems like it's Universal's take on a kiddie park. I think we can look at the concept art and kind of
it's like, can we zoom in on some of the concept art?
So it looks like this is Jurassic over here in the corner on the top left. I really can't place anything else, but I'm not super familiar. I mean, I don't know what this flower world is. I mean, I'm not a Universal DreamWorks expert, but it looks like it has some sort of either an indoor ride or theater attraction.
Tony's on if you want to ask him.
But yeah, well, so
I'm sure that's something with Minions. I just
I feel like Minions in some ways. Yeah, I mean, and it looks like I don't know if it's the Minions is on this main.
Are those
here,
banana boats?
Yeah, the Minion banana. Yeah, that makes sense. So So yeah, but they seem to be really focused on the
Oh, in the upper right-hand corner is probably How to Train Your Dragon or Shrek.
Yeah, it looks like I see a dragon in there. So yeah, it's either the dragon from Shrek or
And then probably the big attraction is that center building in the very back. Also, what is that that looks like the "Do Not Feed the Birds" sign that is massive in front of the building? Look at the bridge, and there's a white sign that.
Yeah, it looks. I don't know. I don't know if that's supposed to be like the DreamWorks logo, like a placeholder for it, or the Universal Globe, a placeholder for it because they don't want to put logos on it. I don't know. It's weird.
I do enjoy the dead end that is probably future expansion or something that they will announce.
Yeah, it's an interesting take. It's an interesting, we don't have a lot of detail. We're just, just a couple of tweets, but I'm sure we'll get more information about what the point of this is at some point.
Is there anything on there about timing?
I don't see anything. I'm trying to look and do everything, but I don't see anything about timing or this is probably very early. This is probably like permitting as opposed to like a public reveal. Kind of like what they do with Epic Universe, where it's like we need roadways moved, so we have to tell you we're doing something. But
this concept art is more detailed than the Epic Universe concept art that we've seen to this day.
So
I see Scott Gustin says Universal describes it as a 1 to 2 day destination, so not that tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting. I
guess the other shoe did drop.
Yeah, the fact that it's in Texas, how close is that to a major city of Texas?
It's
let me get a map of. You said it's near Dallas.
Yeah, it's in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro.
Yeah, it would be like saying, Disney World's not in Orlando.
Yeah,
it's north of Dallas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is interesting. I would love to hear some of the details behind the thought of this, but there's always been that, hey, they're going to pick up Walt Disney World and put it in Texas. Now Universal's taking that first step.
Well, I think this is an interesting sort of, if you're looking at it from Disney's perspective, they've never really cracked the outside of Anaheim, Orlando idea of what to do in the United States. When they had concepts such as Disney America, even Walt had a concept for Missouri. They tried Disney Regional Entertainment with Disney Quest and Club Disney. But, will this push Disney to do something different than just sort of adding new attractions to their existing properties? It'll be interesting to see. There's been rumors that they were going to do something in Houston for eons.
Yeah. I think this could be more of a, hey, let's let Universal break the glass ceiling and see how it works out, because you think back to Islands of Adventure and how that was the major change in theme parks that we were used to, and after the first 2 years it just kind of became stagnant until really just recently.
Cool.
So,
well, we'll keep digging into see if we can get more information, but that's what we know right now. I'm gonna step away to see what I can find out, but
cool. Yeah. All right. Anything else on Legoland, Jeremiah?
No. Like I said, this is a really fun family attraction. This is one that I think Gideon would have taken you guys on over and over again if you came out. Now it will be a nice time to sit and enjoy your post-apple fry lunch and take it's a 20-minute river cruise, and it can adjust. It's all, there is a captain on each boat, and the captain controls the pace. Everybody has said approximately 20 minutes. It can go a little less, a little bit faster. I see this being one that in the middle of summer, when there's an hour wait and there's, to do the math or set up the math, there are 8 boats that are allowed in the canals. It's approximately a 20-minute ride, and there's 10 people per boat. So you guys can figure out the throughput for that. It's not the greatest, but it's not. This isn't Universal or Disney where it's all dependent on the numbers. This is about having fun with your family and getting to explore stuff.
Cool. Anything else you wanted to ask Jeremiah before we let him go? We simultaneously chase breaking news.
I know. That was
I
fun.
do have some more details about the
Okay.
Universal project. So it's going to be, it's going to include 4 or 5 Universal-themed interactive experiences in a 300-room hotel room. So this is much smaller than what we're used to at other sites. It will be. It's considered the first of several developments of this size. So the Frisco is building. It's north. It's in the Dallas area, but they're building sort of like a new, like they're trying to build their own Orlando. So they're having a PGA golfing resort there as well. And they did not discuss timing. However, they have 4 years, according to permitting, to build it. Now that obviously that can change too, but that's the current situation.
So could this open before Epic?
Probably not.
I know, but 2 years for Epic and then 4 years-ish for Universal Texas. So
yeah, and I think it seems like they want to be very clear. This is not like this is a different concept than what we're used to. This is much smaller and designed for children and their families as opposed to the bigger
which
part.
will work out really well if they are trying with the PGA and trying to get that more of a golf area. That'll be great for the families. Everybody can stay there and the golfers can go take part in everything.
They could bill it as an escape for the family, so it could be like a universal escape.
Okay, and on that note, bye guys.
Bye.
Escape.
So I've been in touch with Mike Celestino. He should be joining us shortly to talk about the Hasbro Indiana Jones stuff this morning, which is pretty exciting stuff. They did a stream this morning. But again, we got some breaking news this morning. Universal Studios has announced they are building a new family park for Texas near Dallas. I probably could have worded that a little better. And so we're chasing as many details as we can on that. I'm sure we'll be revisiting that throughout the morning. But in the meantime, while we wait for Mike, Benji, do you want to talk about SuperKitties or? All right.
We actually have an exclusive clip on our YouTube from episode 2. But SuperKitties is the new Disney Junior show that debuts today on Disney Junior, Disney Channel, and Disney Plus. And it's basically a quartet of kitties that have superpowers. They have different ones. One can run super fast. One can leap over buildings. Different sort of things they do. But it sounds like sort of like it was designed by an AI. Like kitties are popular, superheroes are popular. But what I really like about the show, and you can read our interviews with the producers, is it's not just kitties that happen to be superheroes. They really embrace the fact that the cats act like cats. Right? They get distracted by toys, and they suddenly start licking themselves, and then they go, oh no, like the criminals are after Yarn. Now obviously it's a Disney Junior show. The villains are only so villainy. They usually end up finding the error of their ways, but it's a lot of fun. It's got the most catchiest theme songs in the world, and most catchiest. So here's the Cat Burglar. Get it? Cat Burglar.
I got it.
Yeah. So who steals yarn? And spoiler alert, he's stealing the yarn because he lost his blanket, his what he calls his favorite blanket. Well, one of the SuperKitties happened to find it in the lost and found. So then the Cat Burglar, reconstructs all the items he stole to get the yarn. So you're not talking Thanos level villainy here, but it's a lot of fun and a great sort of addition to the Disney Junior lineup. But once again, exclusive clip on Laughing Places YouTube, and not our YouTube. We have exclusive clip that you can see on our site, as well as our interview with.
Can I show that clip?
Yep, absolutely.
All right, let's do it. Took me forever to find it because I was looking on our YouTube. There we go.
Should we wake Boomer, Jenny? Let's let her sleep. Wow, that is empty. Yes, no fireworks, but look, fur! It's not from Boomer. Let's use my Furdar. That'll tell us who it belongs to.
Furdar?
Super Kitty Kit? Yeah! Scanning fur. It's dog fur. But what dog? Aha! Any other clue, Sparks? The dog's in a fancy doggy stroller in Kittydale Park. It's Mr. Puppy Paws!
So Mr. Puppy Paws is voiced by James Monroe Iglehart from Aladdin, the genie, the opening Broadway genie. Isabel Crovetti from Vampirina is Jaja the cockatoo, another villain. Justin Guarini is the cat burglar.
Little sweet one.
From American Idol or Dr. Pepper commercials, whatever you think. And then someone named Ruth with a name that I'm not going to pronounce correctly, whose voices Lab Rats, and her credit is Finding Nemo the musical.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What's her name? What's the name again?
Ruth Federhert.
Oh man, I wonder. I mean, I love that show. I wonder who she played. Sorry. Yeah. So, is this like Smurfs, where everything we use fur instead of Smurf for every
They do a lot of that. I mean, just like they do in Puppy Dog Pals or anything like that. But yeah, there's a lot of like, meow comes up a lot.
And where and when can people see SuperKitties?
It's on Disney Channel, Disney Junior, and Disney Plus. You can watch it right now on if you have the Disney Now app, or Disney Plus. And I've seen a couple episodes, and it's just cute and fun, and especially I think the kids will enjoy it from the action element, but the parents will enjoy it from the the element that it's cats being cats while trying to solve. It's still watchable. It's on two different levels. And
how did Nemo and Dory react?
They did not, which is a testament to the fact that they are not real cats. They bark at you. Nemo will bark at Chewbacca, who's not a dog, but I don't know. The CGI thing didn't bother them at all.
Okay, so Mike's going to be joining us in just a moment. I'm going to do a little bit of this day in Disney history right now. So this day in Disney history, back in 1990, the Walt Disney World Swan had its grand opening, and we do have an image from that. You said no?
No, it did. I just hate that place.
Oh, so here's an image this is actually from just as they were finishing it off. You guys may remember this was a big deal at the time. They got the helicopter to bring on the Swan and drop that on there. That's not true. That is
it's kind of weird that the Swan is actually an ugly duckling.
That's weird. This is not a real a picture. This is not how they got the swans up there. But I love this. This was going around, and people were believing it. Me being one of the people, but it has been debunked. This is not how they did that. But I wanted to share that because I love it. Also, this day in Disney history, 2002, 21 years ago, the world stopped being able to enjoy Superstar Limo.
I must have gone like right before this or something, because I swear we went in 2002. So I don't know how we got to go.
If you went first week of January, you were.
It's very possible. I remember we did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire Play It, because my dad got to play, and we got some of the pins and the hat from that. And then we went on this. We're like, why is there no line? Is this closed? And they're like, no, it's open. And we went on it, and we're like, oh, okay, I see why there's no line.
So wow, yeah, this is the quintessential flop attraction, I believe. You take a flop park, a park that is thought is generally accepted to have been a huge flop, and you take the single worst attraction in it, and that defines Flopperoonie, Flopalicious, Flop Squared.
When we first went to California Adventure, we did all the things because my dad had a timeshare in Newport, so we'd go there and then we'd go to Disney, and we decided to go to DCA since it was new and we hadn't been there. And then like later in the week, we're driving by on the 5. I'm like, Dad, can we go to real Disneyland? Like, yeah, let's go back. So we went and did another day at Disney.
Oh, that's so sad. This day in 2007, I get that year right. Sorry about that. 2017, Iron Man Experience opened at Hong Kong Disneyland. Have either one of you guys done that?
I was there. Well, I wasn't there on the opening day, but I was there for the previews a couple days before the grand opening. So this is my article about that. This was the first Marvel attraction major Marvel attraction in a Disney park. And it opened the same day as the whole Stark Expo area of Hong Kong Disneyland, including the first time we saw an Iron Man meet and greet. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I enjoy the attraction. It's very much like Star Tours, which they don't have a Star Tours there, so it kind of works out. But I think it's a lot of fun.
And on this day in 1990, which seems like yesterday until you look at what the footage looks like these days, not exactly 4K, Disneyland kicks off its 35th anniversary. This is the special. I don't know what the date the special aired, but they did a 35th anniversary special featuring all the popular Disney characters of the time and the Muppets. So, but this was the day the 35th anniversary kicked off. This was the one they started giving away cars, right?
I like how, like in the 90s or late 80s, early 90s, whenever they did a photo shoot, they always made sure there was a balloon vendor in the background to make sure you knew that this was a fun theme park.
And even though Tony Danza is in that clip with Miss Piggy, so there's no question who's the boss.
That's Kyle, classic Kyle. And finally, this day in 1954,
he didn't even take the segue there. He's just gonna keep.
No, it's okay. I didn't mean for him to.
What's the segue?
Bosk.
I should have, but I wanted to get one more in. This day in 1954, on the Hollywood Reporter, there was a headline that read, Walt Disney plans TV show. So this was the beginning of Disneyland, which continues to this day with some breaks in between. But this all month, they're doing them this year. So all January, Disney on television at the time promoting his new crazy theme park, and now showing classic movies going all the way back to the 90s, which apparently are now classic.
And Disney started with one TV show, and now they own how many networks?
All right, we're going to bring Mike Celestino on. I'm going to disappear once again, and you guys can have fun with Mike.
Hey, Mike.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Things are picking up. Stuff's starting to happen.
Wow, you got some energy. So we started today with Indy, right?
Yeah. So Hasbro had its first Indiana Jones fan stream this morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time, and they revealed a bunch of new Indiana Jones toys.
And so I know that this is the first. They were at Hasbro PulseCon, but this is the first like indie focused thing that they've done. So that like the fan stream where it's dedicated. So I'm just going to go through what they've announced here. So they have the Adventure series. Is that like their sort of like mass, kid friendly line?
Adventure series is basically the Black series.
Oh, okay.
Of Indiana Jones. So Adventure series is a 6-inch. I think they call it fan targeted, not adult targeted, but so those are the I would call that the main line of the new series. But this is a kind of a recap of the stuff that they announced at Hasbro PulseCon earlier.
Okay, so these were announced before. So you had Marion,
Sala,
the priest, right?
Belloc,
and then
Toad.
Yeah.
Why don't you know that character's name, Benji?
What's that?
Why don't you know Toad's name? They never say it in the movie.
I've seen it maybe twice.
Okay.
Monopoly, that's kind of fun. They show you inside it, or is it just like the box? Like, what are the
I
properties?
only got a screen cap of the front of the box because I was like rapid fire tweeting,
Right.
but they did show other the board and stuff.
And this
Once
is
you go
full
back to the
Monopoly,
stream.
not Monopoly Junior.
Right. So this is the kids whip, which I thought was funny. Like, yeah, it's called the Action Kraken Whip, and it does have a fun action feature that they displayed in the live stream.
Okay, so like, is it is plastic, or like, is this a real whip?
I mean, what define real?
Like is it made out of like fabric? Like, can you like whip it?
I believe, yeah, it is fabric. It's only like 2.5 feet long or something like that.
Okay, and then so then what? So this is a whip.
Yeah, this is what's it called? Action Whip Action Indie, I think. This is, I think, 12-inch kids focused Indiana Jones figure, kind of hard
The
plastic.
resemblance is uncanny.
Wow, it looks like the AA in the ride.
Kind of looks like
Whoop.
I forget what it looks like.
And then so
This
these
is
are like the toys that you'll find everywhere, right? Because these seem a little bit more accessible, like Worlds of Adventure. Is that?
Yeah, so Star Wars has something called Mission Fleet, which is aimed at younger kids, and then Indiana Jones is going to have Worlds of Adventure, which is the equivalent of that. And they've got, Indy and a few other characters coming out. But it looks like fun to get younger kids hooked on Indiana Jones.
On a bicycle.
This is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen.
So this is from the new movie.
Yeah, these are from the new movie. This is Indy on the horse, and then Indy with a motorcycle and a sidecar. And then they got into the retro collection. These are basically re-releases of the original action figures. So they had previously announced Indy, obviously, for the retro collection, and now we've got Marianne and a few others.
The monkey,
Tote,
apparently. German soldier,
German mechanic
of the epic spectacular fame.
Yes,
I believe this guy. Do they have the guy with the Hawaiian shirt that they pull out of the audience?
The Mark Daniel figure.
This is back to Adventure Series. So these are new figures they revealed. So this is from Club Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah, this is called Club Obi-Wan, Indiana Jones from the beginning of Temple of Doom. I think if I have one critique of what they've announced so far, it's a lot of variants on Indiana Jones and not as many supporting characters as I would like, although Walter Donovan here is an exception. The Julian Glover.
So this is before he drinks anything.
Yes.
Don't drink it.
He does come with the false grail, which I thought was cool. And then Professor Indiana Jones, which comes with some cool accessories too. The Grail Diary. He also comes with the shield that he does the rubbing of in Last Crusade. And then
what are pipeline reveals for those that don't know?
Basically announcements of toys that they are in the process of designing that don't have, they don't have the finished product to show yet. So they're just telling you, later on, we're going to be releasing, designing and releasing these characters, Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, as he looks on the bridge at the end of that movie. Short Round.
Wow, that's really cool.
He wanted
to go to the Globe last night.
Exactly. coming out of last night, Ke Huy Quan is kind of back in the spotlight after being in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and he kind of hit the news yesterday talking about how he would love to reprise the role of Short Round. So cool to get this announcement of a 6-inch scale figure for Short Round.
How would you describe what that figure is going to look like?
Short, but probably not round.
Yeah.
And this, I guess they want to work on their skin tones.
Right. Yeah, this is Hypnotized. Again, like, I would rather have a Kate Capshaw, Willie Scott than just another Indy. But yeah, this is Indiana Jones as he's kind of possessed in Temple of Doom. Hypnotized, as they call it. And then they announced 2 figures coming up from the new film, Dial Destiny, old Indiana Jones, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge character whose name is Helena Shaw, are the 2 that they announced. But I'm sure we'll get more from the new film as well.
Okay, well, so as our resident Lucasfilm expert, what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good start, I would say. Like I said earlier, I would like for them to flesh out the supporting characters. I would love like Sabito, who's the Alfred Molina character from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, there's so many great supporting roles. Marcus Brody, he's a pretty heavily featured character in Last Crusade and Raiders. That would be my only note, I guess. Fewer variants on Indy and more of the other characters would be up my alley to kind of flesh out the cast. But otherwise, I'm excited. I've already pre-ordered the ones that they announced at Hasbro PulseCon. They said that these 3 new announcements for the Adventure series, the ones that they actually had the figures of, are going to be, I think, Walmart and Target exclusives, depending on which one you want. So I know people have been frustrated by that. It makes them a little bit tougher to get, I think, rather than just being able to order them directly from Hasbro, which is a nice feature. But yeah, I'm super excited for this year because we haven't had a new like onslaught of Indiana Jones merchandise since the last movie came out. So it's pretty exciting to have this kind of merchandising blitz around that property again.
And then can I bring you to discuss actually some breaking news that we got. We previously talked about Universal's building a family-friendly resort, family-friendly experience in Frisco, Texas. But we also just got word that at Area 15 in Las Vegas, they're going to be building a year-round horror experience. As tied to
You've been to Area 15, Mike?
Yeah,
I have. I've been to Omega Mart.
Omega Mart.
So I'm just gonna give you some. So I mean, you've done obviously Halloween Horror Nights. You cover it first for Laughing Place.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be 110,000 square feet. It's part of a 20-acre expansion of Area 15, which is big. I mean, if you think of, it's probably a third of a normal Disney theme park or a small Disney theme park, maybe a quarter.
Yeah, because Galaxy's Edge was 14 acres, right? So
yeah.
This is actually bigger than that.
So what's your thought about doing, horror experiences outside of the parks?
I'm very curious to see what they cook up there, especially if they're allowed to kind of run wild with that idea outside of the restraints of especially here in Universal Hollywood, they have such limited space. So here it just seems like they could probably use that to their advantage. And I wonder if John Murdy, have they said if John Murdy is involved?
Don't know.
Okay, but yeah, it sure seems like a good idea, and I bet that'll be pretty popular.
He's pretty active on social. Let me see if he's on. Tweet about it. This is from a financial standpoint. They're not gonna give us creative directors.
So, Mike, since you've been there, just a quick overview. What exactly is Area 15?
It's kind of a permanent art installation with a bunch of different. So there's kind of a big open space. It's almost like a shopping mall for immersive art exhibits. Omega Mart is a permanent installation there, but then they have a bunch of different spaces that are open to rotating exhibits. Like when we were there, they had the immersive Van Gogh thing happening, I think. And there's like a restaurant and a bar, and there's a track running around the whole ceiling where you could ride this almost like a glider type thing. But it's just a bunch of different cool immersive stuff.
And it's been a hit in Vegas, and they're actually building one in Orlando, right? Or near Orlando, at least?
Oh, I didn't know that. Cool.
Oh, is Omega? I hope Omega Mart's a part of it. My son loves Omega Mart and longs to see one in person.
Well, I imagine if what's it called? Laser Wolf? Is that what it is?
Meow Wolf?
Yeah, well,
Meow Laser Wolf.
it's from
It's a-
SuperKitties.
Adult Swim show, yeah. Meow Wolf.
No, Laser
If
Cats.
Meow Wolf did another one, I think they would probably do a different, because they have like 4 or 5 other installations around the country. So I bet they would do a completely new idea rather than just replicate Omega Mart.
Find anything, Ben?
No.
Okay. So, but just the concept of a year-round horror installation like that, especially tied into Area 15, seems like a lot of fun. You think, Mike?
Yeah, I would love to check that out. I think that, last thing I heard about Area 15 was that I'm sorry, it's early. I'm having trouble remembering things. There is this distillery that we toured in downtown LA probably 5 or 6 years ago that shut down here because there was a fire, but they moved into Area 15 in Vegas, and I was super excited to go and check that out because it's kind of like a Willy Wonka version of like a distillery where they're making alcohol.
Is it Lost Spirits?
Lost
Distillery?
Spirits, yeah. So I've been super psyched to check that out as well. And the guy who owns and runs that thing is he's like a crazy billionaire who just like pours money into making insane immersive experiences. But
I saw that in Glass Onion. Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of like that. But yeah, I can't wait to go back and check out all the new stuff for sure.
Cool. And one thing I wanted to ask you, Mike, if I could, are these on your shopping list?
I have a feeling if they were selling them at the parks or at Oga's Cantina, I would almost definitely buy them, but I don't know if I would order them. And I know there's this weird difference I have between like instant gratification and like having to wait for something. It's like, it doesn't excite me as much.
What if
I do really like the Rex one. That if I had to pick one, I'd probably get that one.
What if you could order it and instantly have it delivered digitally to your phone or something?
Oh, you couldn't hug it at that point.
These are new Entertainment Earth Star Wars Geeky Tikis with Black Chrysanthemum, Cad Bane, and more. So I don't know which one the more is.
More is Rex there.
Okay. So yeah, and of course, Mike being our Star Wars editor, I wanted to get his thoughts on this. Okay. Thank you very much, Mike. Anything else for Mike before we let him get on with his busy LP day?
Are you going to go to Frisco, Texas? Go with this new Universal Family Focused Park in like 4 years?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Mike.
Okay.
You have 2 Lucasfilm properties to watch today, right?
Yeah, I've already watched and reviewed The Bad Batch.
Okay, well, that was my question. Which would you do first, Bad Batch or Willow? So
Well, Bad Batch, I had screeners for this week's episode, so I watched a couple days ago. I am 10 minutes into the new Willow episode.
How's the season thus far? We'll ask you in the future what you thought of the season, but how's it thus far?
I would say it's pretty good, not great. There were a couple episodes in there that had me wondering if it was going to be successful in the long run. I think they leaned a little too far in the goofy direction. I kind of told Doobie that earlier. But I think last week's episode was really strong. And I'm hoping that the finale kind of knocks it out of the park. But I did notice, I don't know if you guys have checked this, but on the on Disney Plus, on the menu, it says season finale. So I don't know if we're taking that as news that it's going to get a second season. It doesn't say series finale.
Interesting. That's interesting.
I haven't like I said, I haven't finished the episode yet, so I don't know if it ends on a cliffhanger or what, but I'm going to go do that next.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing it. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
And Kyle, we just got some breaking news.
I was going to say, we were just talking about Abbott Elementary after its Golden Globe wins last night, and so naturally we have some news on that front.
it's been renewed for season 3. Maybe not.
I for one am shocked.
I know. I've been waited on pins and needles to find out if this sitcom was going to be renewed for season 3 after winning all the awards.
Sometimes studios are like, you know what? We don't need one hit show making our other shows look bad. We need to get rid of this. But that's not what ABC did here. They're going to stick by their hit and keep making money with it. So I think that's quite noble of them.
Alex said, so Alex is at TCA, and he said they handed out PB&J sandwiches to celebrate the news.
And juice that's got 2 ounces extra, and it's going to ruin everything.
So
you didn't see that episode, I guess.
I did not. I've seen 2 episodes that I like the show. I really do. I just haven't gotten in the habit of watching it.
Have you seen the one where they had Gritty guest star?
I saw the clip because I went down a Gritty deep dive, and so
it's not something I would admit publicly, but you do you.
I have an unreason. Like I actually was like checking. When we're going to go to Philadelphia to see the Disney 100 exhibit, and I went to see if there was going to be a Flyers game because I want to see Gritty. But
we were watching on Thanksgiving. We turned on the TV and we're like, oh, well, I don't know if the Macy's parade is on, but we found like the ABC stream. We're like, oh, is this like a different view of the parade? And then we're like, oh, Quinta Brunson's hosting this broadcast. That's kind of cool. And then we're like, oh, it's Philadelphia's. That makes more sense.
I'm gonna take care of this. Hi, Hope. We can say electrosymphomagnetic musical sounds. The Main Street Electrical Parade. You want me to say it like that? Electrosymphomagnetic musical sounds. But
should we look at this concept art one more? Oh, I guess we can go through this. Sure.
Yeah. So
should I turn off our breaking news banner?
Yeah. Well, sorry, Doobie's preoccupied with managing our business, but they put a foodie guide out for Lunar New Year, specifically at the Disneyland Resort, Hong Kong Disneyland Resort, Shanghai Disneyland. Take that, China Pavilion. And there's going to be
these things aren't in America. Like you could just tell, you're like, oh, that looks too fun and cute.
Yeah,
that must not be in America. We don't like cute, fun things.
So this is a Hong Kong Disneyland Resort, starting actually in 2 days. The Duffy Mango Mochi Dessert Cup.
Okay,
that sounds delicious. And the Shelly May Red Bean Mochi Dessert Cup. So these are the ones here, obviously, on the corner there. There's also Lohai served with sesame sauce and chili soy sauce, which is smoked salmon, cooked shrimp, abalone, carrot julienne, cucumber julienne, seaweed, Japanese turnip, Japanese ramen, crispy fritter, and deep fried shallot, served with sesame sauce and chili sauce. And then an iced sweet purple potato milk with looks like who is that? Stella Lou on top there? Yeah. So as you said, this all looks a lot of fun. You got a Kyoto grape and Hokkaido milk. It's a soft serve. Once again with Stella Lou because the year of the rabbit. Mm-hmm. At the Royal Banquet Hall, the Chinese treasure pot, which is on the top right there. The Starliner Diner is going to have a Chinese New Year platter. And then
they have a lot of good food at Hong Kong Disneyland, I should say.
Yeah.
If you go to Clopin's is probably my favorite. I don't know if they have anything special there, but yeah, there's a lot of good stuff there. And now I'm reminded of all of this as you go through this list.
And then at the food carts, they're going to have golden salted egg flavored popcorn. But look at that popcorn bucket.
Oh, wow. That's pretty.
That's really cute. At the hotel, there'll be a dinner set at the Crystal Lotus Hotel and a Chinese New Year seasonal dishes like oyster, crab, and such. And once again, cute. Look at the little, I guess, monkeys? What are those things in the corner? Moving to Shanghai, the Cookie and Bakery Cafe is going to have special cookies, not surprisingly, and a special Spring Festival afternoon tea for two will be available at the Mickey and Pals Market Cafe. the Royal Banquet Hall will have a Spring Festival family set. But look at these popcorn buckets and tumblers.
I wish I would have known that this was happening. I should go put on my Stella Lou hoodie.
Well, Lunar New Year celebration at Disneyland starts next Friday, so be prepared.
Okay, that's a really good point. I will make sure that I can fit in that.
And then what do we got here? We got a Donald Duck tumbler. It's cute. At the Shanghai Disneyland Hotel, there's going to be Mickey pork jelly at Lumiere's Kitchen and 8 treasured duck with glutinous rice. And here we go to Disneyland Resort. So they
beer and a pretzel, real rich.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's noticeably not as much fun.
Yeah, seriously. Like, why don't they think that we can handle awesome Stella Lou merch?
I don't know. We get a lotus flower glow cube, which I believe was originally designed for Rivers of Light that they've been trying to sell for the last 10 years. But you'll see the different outdoor vending carts. They have the bamboo blessings, Lucky 8 lantern, Red Dragon Spice Traders, Wrapped in Love.
Ooh, wow, some pot stickers. Real original. I'm not complaining. I love pot stickers. I'm very glad whenever they're there. But it's still like just scrolling through this post, it just takes a noticeable dive in creativity.
Prosperity Bow and Bun, so you can eat your child. Longevity Noodle Co. will have, I believe, noodles.
Yeah, not a whole lot of new noodles. If you've had them before, they're probably about the same, but might cost you some more.
And then throughout Coffee Adventure, you have the Milk Tea Taro Cheesecake. Lamplight Lounge is going to have some special offerings, including a special cocktail and sesame seed donuts, which are maple glazed donuts topped with sesame seed brittle. And the Lucky Fortune Cookery, which seems to make sense, will have a mango sticky rice, which is taro and coconut sticky rice with mango gel, toasted coconut, fresh mango. Magic Key Terrace for Magic Key holders will have pork spare rib with peanut chili sauce, Asian slaw, toasted peanuts, and crispy noodles. I won't be partaking. The Pacific Wharf Cappuccino cart has green tea horchata and a Dalgona coffee bundt cake. Pacific Wharf Cafe has white chocolate apple bread pudding. Now that looks good. That might be my pick. And obviously some other items at Paradise Garden Grill and the Sonoma Terrace, including a pad thai spring roll. And the churro cart will have an almond
churro. Sounds good.
Yeah, an almond cookie churro. And there's also going to be a teriyaki turkey leg. The Harvestone Lounge is going to have a special drink. At the Grand Californian Holiday Cart, there's going to be Lunar New Year cookie and assorted pretzel sticks. Storytellers Cafe is actually going to have Lunar New Year inspired offerings such as fried rice and spring rolls. And Goofy's Kitchen will do so as same. At the District, Black Tap Craft Burgers and Shakes is going to have a Year of the Rabbit Crazy Shake, a vanilla frosted rim with red and gold sixlet, Chinese Zodiac Rabbit Vanilla Cupcake, a red and gold rock candy, whipped cream, red sprinkles, and caramel drizzle.
Have you ever had a crazy shake?
No.
Or something similar? Like, I know
I mean,
Doobie and Gideon have. Like, how do you go about it? Why is this a thing? Do people, like, you have like a whole thing of cake on top of the
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I did it once, and I love milkshakes, but I'm more of like a regular milkshake kind of guy. Obviously, Catal, Naples will have special stuff. Lunar Sprinkles is going to have a new Lunar New Year Gold Bunny Almond Red Velvet Cupcake, as well as a Lunar New Year Red box. And Tortilla Joe's will have Asian tuna nachos and a special drink, as well as Uva Bar. So there's a lot to digest there, but I think we can all agree.
I see what you did there.
That the Asian parks seem to have a much more fun food. But
well, can we look one more time at this Universal concept art and close this out? I think that would probably be, ironically, on this Disney News update, we're going to talk about Universal as our top story. And I think I figured one thing out. If you zoom in on that, like right just to the right of the water, You see those stars at night? They are big and bright, deep in the heart of Texas. Thank you. But yeah, so this is, if, in case you weren't here earlier, Universal has announced that they are building a new. It's going to be focused more on families and younger visitors, but they're building a new park in Frisco, Texas, which is just north of Dallas. Sounds like currently maybe about 4 years, but they're not a specific timeline. Just the permitting says 4 years, but that can always change. And at the same time, they announced a permanent horror attraction in Las Vegas. So Universal's kind of being like Disney in the 90s and saying, hey, we should have little experiences in other places besides the two coasts. We'll see if it works out from Cotton.
And, they started this with their escape rooms, right? Like, I mean, it's in Orlando, but, it's trying to do
How's that going?
things. And I don't know how those are doing.
I haven't heard great, but
yeah. It's interesting that, Disney, I think because of the success of their parks, has been remiss to not like really expand beyond them unless it's going to be a huge sort of driver. But they started, they're doing things like Adventures by Disney, which is obviously not the same scale as their parks, and they've started to dip their toes, but we talked about how Josh tomorrow is going to be at South by Southwest. I'm really curious to see if this kind of moves them, especially now that there's new leadership and there maybe is a little bit more sort of fiscal flexibility because they trust Bob Iger more because he's done it for a while. If they're able to invest in other experiences beyond Anaheim and Orlando and, their international parks, it'll be interesting to see. I don't have the answer. I mean, Disney did try things with like The Void that didn't pan out. But
well, speaking of things not panning out, I will say if anyone is super excited about this, Google Universal Dubai Land and then maybe temper your expectations just a little bit until things get further along.
Yeah. I mean, you never know what's going to happen.
Disney's America.
Disney's America. Port Disney.
Yeah, that was the Long Beach one. Or is that something different? Yeah.
No, that's it.
What? Disney Sea, which wouldn't have been Disney Sea.
Right.
Well, anyway, with that Universal announcement, I think we should close out this edition of the Laughing Place Disney News Update, which was the name of our our news video back then. Be sure to stay tuned to Laughing Place TV, laughingplace.com/TV, or right here on YouTube. If there's more big breaking news, you never know. We might pop in. Do we have any scheduled programming later today, Ben?
That's an excellent question. I don't believe so.
I don't believe so either. We will have people at events, so stay tuned to our Twitter. Very exciting things happening at Planet Hollywood of all places.
We got people in 3 different sites. 4. We got Legoland, Planet Hollywood, the new Orlando Fringe venue, and the Television Critics Association. I would definitely expect more news coming out of them throughout the day. And actually the next couple of days, with Friday being the big day. So make sure you're following along on Friday.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.